Abz, thank you so much for being here with us today on Dan's Dilemmas. And also thank you for being prepared to tell your story, because obviously there are so many people, as we've spoken about, Dr. Linda, who are going through this. So firstly, I guess the most obvious thing to ask is, why open up now?
Thank you for having me. And secondly, why open up? I feel like my journey is one of those, if I can do it and get out of it and get out through the other side, then anybody can, really. And if it makes that one person's difference, it sounds cheesy, but if one person even is looking up to me or thinks they're in the same position as I was, there is hope. And a big part of that, a big key is to be able to have the feel like you have somebody to talk to and somebody to be there for you, because you are so isolated, and that makes it 100 times worse.
So for you, how bad did the drug addiction get, Abz?
Yeah, it got wild. I was a really good boy. I was church every Sunday. My father and them were Muslims, so I'd do all the good stuff. I was a good boy. Got into the band, was even good at the beginning when I first started the band a few years back. And then it was after that, really, things started getting a little bit wild. Too much money, too soon, from a broke neighborhood. I'm from Hackney. I didn't have anything. So all of a sudden, overnight, I'm this star, so-called, and too fast, too quick, I think, and nobody around me to guide me and help me put some money away or look at doing this instead of doing that. It was just parties and wild madness. And then after the band, after that, it kind of went downhill after that, because I started hanging around the wrong people. I didn't trust anybody, family members, no one close in my circle. It was everybody that I'd met out at a club or out when I was here and there, and just the influence, I guess.
And were there times when you thought that addiction could lead to your death? Because you're looking at all of these other celebrities, Abz, who, you know, let's be frank here, drug addiction causes them to die, and we've seen it time and time and time again. So what was your lowest moment, and did you face death?
There was a couple times. I actually I had this penthouse at the time. Life was kind of good, even though there was a darkness to it, a dark side to it, where I would stand, and I was right on the Thames, and I'd stand on the edge of my balcony, and I'd be there for like maybe an hour or 2 hours just contemplating, like, if I just jump, who would care? Like, what difference does it make? And then another time as well, there was moments where, like, my heart, the palpitations, that I was laying down one time after partying for like 3 or 4 days straight, and my heart was just like punching this mattress out of my chest. And it happened again not so long after, and I heard a voice like, one more time. We got one more chance at this. You know, it wasn't that cool, but it was like one more time, man. And I was like, geez. I started chasing things. I started seeing things. I was like, just needed help.
So you having like drug-induced delusions then?
I chased this big black lion, came into my room. I chased it out, and like, I was seeing things move that weren't moving, little black things in the corner of my eye. Things just like moving around.
Which
like
must have been scary, right?
Yeah, completely. But I'm not going to say, oh man, you lot see this thing, but that kind of made me realize, like, man, I need to slow down. Like, I was skinny, I thought I looked good, but I was.
Was there anything enjoyable about taking drugs at that point, or was it simply that you were addicted and couldn't stop? Because I've never taken drugs, so I don't really understand if it's that you just are still enjoying that high and you need that high, or is it literally, because also I don't smoke, you see, so I don't understand the thing with smoking, because what enjoyment are you getting from it? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I completely understand. It's a very, for example, when it comes to cocaine, that's a powerful feeling. Like, I'd walk into a room with like 5 or 6 grams and just throw it on the floor, and you'd see people scatter. So you have this power which can become addictive. And when you're out and about, it's almost socially cool to do that kind of stuff and be around people. And it's cool if you're a walking chemist and you've got everything that everyone needs. And I kind of fell into that trap for a little while.
Because you're validated for it. Can I ask you something else, Abz? Because this is interesting to me. We have all these don't do drugs campaigns. We're telling what could someone have said to you, a parent, a friend, to either stop you at the beginning of not trying, or to turn you around? Is there anything for those people out there listening that have someone they love that they're worried about? Because we know the first thing you guys is you shut them out, right? As soon as we bring it up, you're like, because I have a cousin that went through this, and it was heartbreaking. He went through a drug-induced psychosis, and he's not come back yet. And it is truly, this is a guy with a master's degree. So this idea that you come from a certain walk of
Yeah,
life
absolutely.
is BS.
Yeah,
And
don't
so
know.
what, please, from your point of view, what could someone have said? What could those people out there listening, what can we do as family members, as friends?
You know what? Even my drug dealer at the time was like, he basically fired me. He was like, "You're too much. You need to slow down." But you don't hear it. You just find someone else. And it's a tough one because you don't trust anybody. You're in your own little world, so you don't really trust anybody. Why do they want to be near me? Why are they trying to help me for? You don't really care. And what I found is that more than likely, it's a previous trauma from way back, from childhood. Maybe I had to do this and go on like an inward search to try and find where this trauma came from. And it usually is when you're really young, at some point, your family, your upbringing, or something's happened that set you off a little bit. So you don't have that full support. You don't feel like you have that support. But again, like you say, you can come out of the like most established families with people with money, with people that have degrees, and it doesn't matter, all walks of life, all types of people. So my advice, I guess, is to just let that person know that you're there for them, and that there is a way, and that you don't judge, you don't think, you don't like have any kind of like preconceived notions of what it is to take this drug or whatever it is that you're on, because you don't know until you've done it and you've been there. But there is hope.
That's what Dan says. I almost feel there's a language that when you don't do it, you almost feel like, do you know what I mean? It's like you speak a language that I don't. I kind of feel like a bit of a nerd outside, as if, you know, like I'm not as, because there is, it's this very pathological, you know, whatever you want to call it, cool or whatever connotation to it. So like Dan or me going to someone who we even care about, love, it's just a bit like, well, you don't get it, do you? You're a bit.
And the way the world is right now, man, the media and everything else, is cool to have like do Xanax and be high off of that, and all these artists that are coming out promoting all of this stuff, man. It doesn't work.
What about the question that we're asking today, Abz? And I want to know your answer, Abz, and your answer, Dr. Linda. Is it possible to truly beat an addiction, or do you just live with that addiction? So in your case, are you a drug addict now for the rest of your life and you have to live with it? Or can you actually beat it entirely one day? I'm interested to know what you both think.
Would you like to go first?
No, by all means.
100% you can be here. 100%. I'm living proof. If you need a reason, look at me. I've done it. I've been there. I've did it. I've seen it. I've won it. I've won it. I've had the highs. I've had the lows. I've had it all in the middle.
I love that.
Yeah. And
so how long since you've been off drugs?
So good few years, man. Like since I had, when I first went, it was really bad. I just stopped. I just cold turkeyed it. And that was kind of rehab. Like I just started a relationship, which was terrible timing. So everything in the house got mashed up. Everything was smashed. I was just crazy, man. I was crazy. So it took a while, but a point does come if you're in the right environment and you're with the right people, where you forgive, you forget, you let go. It's okay. You feel safe. You need to be with someone that you feel safe around. And animals as well. I was in nature. I set myself out and was playing with animals, stroking. They're such great shock absorbers. Being in nature, talking to the trees. It sounds like far out, man, but that's what I'm about. So I went deep.
Dr. Linda, as a psychologist, what do you think? Can you beat an addiction, or is an addiction something you live with for the rest of your life?
I think you can absolutely overcome it and have the skills to cope. Now, this is what I tell people that come to me for anything, with anxiety disorders, with addiction. I need to get you to a point where you say, bring it on. Not to a point that you'll never feel anxious, not to the point that you'll never feel tempted, but where you have those tools to say, the hell with you. You can say, because it's a bully on your shoulder. You'll get me this app. It's a bully on your shoulder saying, take some. It's no big deal. You need to learn to deal with that bully. Does a bully on the shoulder ever go away? He might be quiet, but he's there in the corner. But we need that skill set. And look, I would be out of a job if people didn't change. Absolutely. We can change. Now, is it easy? No, because I think there's so many factors. We know that your physiological makeup, your psychological makeup, your childhood, we know all of these things will have, done a perfect storm to bring you there. And like you said, for different people, it's it's a different perfect storm, but we need to break it down. So I would urge anybody out there, and like you said, if anyone's listening, please get help. Like with any mental health issue, and I believe there's a big mental health component to this, the sooner you get help, the better.
Absolutely, but I'm going to take the counter view here, and I'm going to say, actually, I don't think you can ever beat an addiction entirely. I think it stays with you. So, for example, if you look at me with what I believe is an addiction to food, I will never beat that. I know that for my entire life, it will be with me. There will be times when I'm hopefully 2 stone lighter than I am now, and I'm pretty much beating it. Thank you, Az. But then there'll be other times in my life when I'll be 2 stone heavier than I am now, and I've really lost it. Now, I'm addicted to food, but I've also got something that we were talking about earlier, which is just terrible metabolism. And in someone that, unless I'm sort of really, truly, I would say, doing a Victoria Beckham starvation type diet, then I am going to be bigger than what would be a normal healthy weight. So it's all about balance.
But I think people that have been addicted, it sort of becomes a part of you, and you live with it, but you kind of work with it. So I know what you're saying. You're not fully over it. There will always be that past, but it becomes, it gives you a character or a strength.
It's fully on you. It's how much you decide to listen to it. And one of the things, I'm going to pull you up on this. I don't like the way you talk about yourself. You don't see you the way, you see yourself in this distorted way. You're a really cute guy, and this thing is too definitive.
You, Dr. Linda.
No, but you're overly defining.
I'm just talking about food because food is my only addiction. But if I look at Robbie Williams, for example, someone who I've got to know, and he's very open about his addiction, especially to alcohol. Now, he has managed to stay cold turkey in terms of alcohol rather than drugs, but, he knows one drink would set him off onto a path. So do you get what I mean? That's what I guess I mean. So I'm not saying, Abz, and please God, let's hope you stay off drugs for the rest 100%. Of your life. But I guess what I'm saying is that probably that addiction is still part of you.
If you have that personality where you're addictive.